Buddy Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sundays, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian. And it is a Monday here on the show, and you don't exactly know what it means. Actually, you might, because I spoiled it. What is up going on over here? Filthy Tom Lawler's joining us here today. Normally, we have a Monday show, just the two of us, but not really a lot going on this weekend. We were mostly just going to review the SmackDown show. And he also had something else that he wanted to talk about. Or I wanted him to talk about it. So he's going to join us today on this show instead. It'll be myself, Filthy Tom Lawler, and Mike Sempervive. Three-man booth for Wrestling Observer Live coming up after the break. And we got a lot to talk about. We have the SmackDown show as noted. We have the Collision show, including... Honestly, the more I think about it, this is one of the best angles AEW has ever shot. What they did at the end of that show on Saturday night with Will Hobbs was just incredible. And I don't know what they're going to do on Wednesday, but man, if ever there was a time to call some sort of audible or something, now's the time. So we can talk about that. Also got Raw tonight, the second week of Raw on Netflix. So if you watched last week's Raw on Netflix... Well, according to Triple H, that was like a standalone show. And we're getting back to the real Raw this coming, well, tonight, actually. So it's going to be more episodic storytelling, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll see how the show does tonight on Netflix. Hopefully I can get this thing working on my iPad. It was quite the rigmarole last week. Also got new Saturday night's main event dates. We'll tell you about that. We got new title contenders in NXT after they shot angles at house shows. We got notes from the New Japan show this past weekend, Dynamite numbers, and plenty more. I got a lot to talk about. And two buddies. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Let's do this unnecessary censorship.
Talk about your Psalms, talk about John 3:16. Austin 3:16 says I just your ass.
That was terrible. Horrible. They weren't the Heart Foundation. They weren't the British Bulldogs, okay? They're two geeks. And this celebration these guys did.
Oh.
I mean, they're like, Sean, give me brother. Yeah!
A place like that?
You two dorks. That's what you did. Why are you so excited?
Because they're awesome.
Okay. That was better than the first one.
It picked up at the end there.
Yes.
Unnecessary censorship.
He beat him. And 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 he beat him. I'm sweating.
Time to stop.
And he beat him.
Was this edited?
And then he beat him, and he beat him. So. I actually wore that shirt. It just says he beat him, he beat him, he beat him all the way down. Like,
all the way down, you say?
I dropped her off at camp, and the camp counselor just looks at me. She goes, he beat him and beat him. I was like, gag gift.
Brian, would you for me again this week? It's too hot to do much.
That's true. It is too hot to do much.
I guess I just better do it because it came up for me.
I'll wait.
It won't come up again. It's pretty short, so I'll just do it. Yeah. Now I gotta find it back.
Okay.
It isn't
Damn, I'm
coming
gonna
up.
kill you. How about you just it? Okay.
Ouch.
What else we got, Vinny? I hope that Granny licks her finger to turn the page. Lick that finger. There'll be an unnecessary censorship coming up. Lick that. Okay, let's see. Unnecessary censorship.
So Oro Ethan after the match and gets his ass just into the earth.
Vinny.
And Ethan is leaving, holding his all confident. And then Oro just comes back to life, and now he Ethan's ass.
Oro jumps him from behind.
Yep.
Then he beats his ass after cheap shotting the guy. Haha. That was interesting. That's quite unnecessary. Instead of suffering through the YouTube chat, click like and subscribe. Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive and Filthy Tom Lawler joining us. Nothing like a three-man booth on this show.
Why am I here?
I don't know. Why are you here?
I could have.
Because you're supposed to be here.
I could have the day off. Why is Tom here?
I mean, you could leave if you want, but, like, people like the three-man booth.
Do they?
I'm not your mother.
I think they actually enjoy the two-man booth with Mike and I better, but
I'm not leaving.
Why not?
Well, because I'm sure there's going to be a day this week where I'm not going to be here, so I'll need you guys. But if you want to take the day off, Mike, go for it. I'll need you later on. I think we can all add something to the show, right?
yeah, I've got some.
Can you guys see how little preparation is done for this show? I don't even know if Mike knew Filthy was going to be here.
I didn't.
Well, there's always my Twitter you could have read, because I did tweet it out.
I'll follow you.
Get out of here. Do I follow you? I actually don't even know.
Yes.
I think I followed two people on Blue Sky. I followed Tara because she's the one that gave me the invite, and I followed Lance because he yelled at me now because I hadn't. So other than that, nobody. I found out how much easier social media is when you don't actually follow anybody.
How about that?
Yeah.
Or use it at all. But that's the only place you're going to get Lance content. So
I want to mention a couple of things before we get going. One is an old story, and that is, yeah, someone's got a weird buzz on their thing. Disconnect and reconnect, Mike. I just always presume it's you. I could be wrong. Let me listen. Oh, no. It's you, Tom. You disconnect and come back. Yep, it was Tom. God. Amazing. Mike, you back? Where's everybody? Mike? Tom? Should I just do like hours of dead air here on this program today? Is anybody back? Tom?
Yes.
It's still a little bit of a buzz. It'll be fine. After the break, reconnect your microphone. I think it's the mic cable. But don't do it now. Don't do it now. Do it later. Okay, anyway. While Mike is reconnecting, and yeah, I got an echo on Tom's and everything. This is the kind of thing that we should do like before the show went off the air if we were like a professional radio show, you know what I'm saying? It's not you, Mike. It's definitely Tom.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Now he's going to be fiddling with stuff. I'm going to turn this thing off. Tom, you try and fix yourself, okay? Me and Mike will talk.
Sort yourself, son.
Yeah, sort yourself out, brother. So, Dynamite on Wednesday. I know people don't like to talk about ratings, but I like to talk about if there's like a big story. And this actually is a big story. So, Dynamite did 615,000 viewers and a .17 in 18 to 49, okay? So, what does that mean? Well, I don't know exactly what it means because they're not going to give us numbers, but this show is now being simulcast on Max, okay? And I believe strongly that there's, I would say, probably 200 to 250,000 people that are now watching on Max. And the fact that Dynamite did pretty much the exact same viewership and their 18 to 49 was only slightly down, I think that they have added a good 250,000 viewers that are now going to be watching every week. And it's the exact same thing that happened with Raw. Like, you know, the Raw numbers that they sent out, who knows what they all really mean. But if you look at the actual total universe for the number of people that have access to Netflix as compared to the number of people that have access to the USA Network, I mean, it's almost, I mean, you can't even argue that they might have less on Netflix. I mean, they virtually for sure have more. So I think in the last week, both WWE and AEW increased their viewership by at least a couple 100,000 people. And I guess we're going to see what that means. But, some of these guys, these weirdos on Twitter, they're like, oh, they probably got like a viewer on Max. Bro, I mean, it's not just like, I already switched to Max. And we got tons and tons of feedback from people that switched to Max. A lot of people prefer watching it on Max because it's better picture quality. If you're on the West Coast, there's literally no good reason to not watch it on Max because you can watch it live, which you can't do otherwise. Like, I can watch the show at 5 o'clock now as opposed to 8. So, I mean, the Dynamite viewership not going down, I mean, that tells me they got a lot of new viewers. So they need to take advantage of that, which means, from here on out, when they do those shows, it's like we need some video packages. We need some, tell people the stories, act like you got new people watching, which is not one of their strengths, and try to take advantage of that. So there you go.
And,
hi, Tom. You there?
Yeah, I am back. One of the things that you didn't talk about, right, in this whole thing is like I switched over to Max as well. I also have YouTube TV, so I could watch it on TBS. I could watch it on TNT. But it's just cooler to watch it on Max.
Hey, I got...
It just is.
Yeah.
Does it make you feel young, you two? I mean, what is it?
It does, yeah. Yeah,
the
there's
thing.
more prestige to it.
I'm not going to doubt that they got more viewers on Max. I mean, surely they did. And they had a good rating for what they do. They've been under 600,000 so often that the fact that they were over 600,000 and you can count in the Max number, I mean, that's a good week for them. And I thought TV-wise, both Dynamite and Collision were very good this week as far as moving things along and moving things forward in a positive direction. But I do hesitate to say that 250,000 people, you think that they added that many people, but then again, I don't know how the breakdown of the demographics of Max work. It just seems to be that that's a little bit of a high number, especially because there's so many people that are saying that they switched over, and if that's the case, they probably would have been down in some demos or down overall as far as the rating went.
Well, they are down in 18 to 49. Which makes sense because
that
I think,
sense,
just like you said, a lot of younger people are going to choose.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, here's the thing. I would be fine watching it on YouTube TV, okay? Because the picture quality is pretty much exactly the same. YouTube TV will air in 1080p, 1080p 60 frames per second if it's filmed like that. But like Sling, for those of you that have Sling TV, Sling it was 720p. So if you watch it on Max, you're automatically getting a much better picture. And the only complaint I've seen, and the other thing about YouTube TV is, when I watch on Max, they don't cut out the overrun. So I don't have to worry about that. They air the entire thing. The replay is up immediately with the entire show. And the only complaint I have seen, which I couldn't possibly care less about, is when they go to commercial, they don't do picture-in-picture on Max. And I've actually seen, like, the AW sickos, they're angry they can't watch picture-in-picture during commercial. I'm like, dude, great. I just want to skip through those commercials as fast as I can. So I don't have any negative for Max compared to YouTube TV. And if I had Sling or some of these other services, I've got a much better picture now, and there's a lot of benefits to switching.
Yeah. Well, they dragged another old man into the mix with me with Netflix because I didn't use Netflix for anything. My wife would watch Stranger Things, I believe it is, but like I never had a use for Netflix really before, and watching WWE, apparently whatever we have, it's 4K, it's got no commercials, all that sort of stuff, and it was great. I can't complain at all about the presentation and everything that was done. So I mean, really, from a TV point of view, both of these companies to start 2025 are, at least aesthetically looking fantastic.
And I will say that if you're going to sign up for Max, because I'm sure, I would suspect that the Australia show is going to be a live special on Max, free if you have Max. They have 3 tiers, and like unless you're doing it for like movies or something like that, you don't need to get the 4K tier because neither WWE on Netflix nor AEW, nobody is broadcasting in 4K. Nobody's using 4K cameras, so you're just basically wasting your money. You can imagine it looks better because you got the 4K, but it doesn't. It's 1080p. So just get the middle tier and save yourself like $5.
This guy who doesn't watch sports in 4K.
No, I'm saying if you want it for sports or movies or whatever, that's fine. But don't pay for the 4K for wrestling because nothing is broadcast in 4K, so you're wasting your money.
What about 8K?
You know, one of these days they're going to get 4K cameras. WWE's going to do it first. They're going to invest in 4K, and it's going to look freaking awesome. Back in a moment, Observer Live.
AEW held an event in Dallas last weekend that included plenty of AEW stars. Take a look at the top highlights and most noteworthy moments from the event.
There are a lot of people who have led to the success and the revolution that is All Elite Wrestling. First and foremost, the great wrestling fans here and around the world. The Elite, Chris Jericho, John Moxley, a lot of wrestlers who took a chance on us from the very beginning, from our very first show. And when we had our first ever event, it was the original Double or Nothing, we had a ticket on sale event. It generated a lot of buzz. It got a lot of people talking, and it's great to bring that kind of energy here for the fans in Arlington. These great fans who've turned out with us today, the great Texas wrestling fans, and all of the great fans all over the world. Pro wrestling has always been at the forefront of entertainment, whether it was the original broadcast television, cable, closed circuit, pay-per-view, VHS, DVD. Pro wrestling's always been there, and the future of wrestling and the future of entertainment is streaming, and pro wrestling is going to be at the forefront of that. AEW All In and all of the AEW TV shows are going to be live streaming going forward on Max. We've got a great home on TBS. We have a great home on TNT.
Brought to the fans more than just wrestling. You've brought to the fans the event called StarCast.
That's right, yes, sir. And StarCast was really created to support the original All In, Tony.
Right.
You know, we wanted to find a way to take that super show, but this dream and the idea and the ambitious goal of selling 10,000 tickets, Tony, at the time felt unfathomable. Who would have thought just a few years later it'd be the most ticketed event ever?
Right.
And now, All In is back in America. Right here in Arlington, and I'm proud to announce right here today, Tony, that All In is now a week. It is going to be a destination. StarCast is coming back to All In right here in Arlington.
That's right.
How about that, Tony?
And that's right. And you are going to be able to meet many of the stars throughout the decades in pro wrestling. Some of your favorite stars currently, some of your favorite stars in the past, right?
That's exactly right. It's all about nostalgia. This is about a celebration, a love letter for wrestling fans. A friend of mine once called it the Woodstock of wrestling. Something for everybody, multiple generations, the favorite Hall of Famers, the favorite legends, and the stars of the day. And also interactive experiences you can't do anywhere else, Tony.
Listen, I never said for sure it's 250,000. But here's the fact of the matter. They've added a lot of people because the TV number is the same, and we know for a fact that a lot of people are watching on Max. If you look at like when NFL runs on television and also simulcast on a streaming service, they do about 30% of the people choose to watch it on the streaming service. Same thing with WWE. Saturday Night's Main Event and Peacocks. About 30% choose to watch it on streaming. So, what? AEW is like some aberration where 5% are going to watch on streaming? Like, it's probably around 20 to 30%, which is between 160,000 and like 240,000 new people. So, like, it doesn't even make mathematical sense for it to be like 25,000 people. I mean, yeah, I don't know if I believe the polls online, but like Dave talked about, there's a lot of polls online. Are you watching on Max or are you watching on TBS TNT? And like, according to the polls, the vast majority are watching on Max. That's probably not the case. I don't know why the polls are saying that. But like the idea that nobody is choosing to watch on Max is ridiculous. We know people are. Everybody listening to this right now, if you have a friend that watches wrestling, you probably know somebody who chose to watch on Max. So the idea that it's like, oh, it's only probably 10,000 people or whatever. No, it's not. It's a substantial number of people. Thank you.
Yeah. And it looks, according to the stats, Max currently has over 110 million subscribers globally.
Yeah. Guys, do you look at the SmackDown numbers? Okay? What are the SmackDown numbers today as compared to when they were on Fox? It's 1.5 million versus 2.2 million. They didn't all of a sudden have, 70,000 people decided never to watch SmackDown again when it was switched off Fox. It's because Fox is available in significantly more homes. And Max and Netflix are both available in significantly more homes. So just on the basis for that, you're adding... I don't know what the exact number is, but you're going to add, like literally SmackDown moving from USA to Fox added 70,000 viewers every week. 70,000. For no other reason than 70,000 more people were able to watch it. So now we've gone from, in Raw's case, the USA Network to Netflix, which is available to significantly more people. Max compared to TBS TNT. You're automatically going to add viewers, and you're going to have people that switch over to watch it on that service. So anybody thinking that like nobody's watching this, I mean, stop. There's a lot of new people watching this. So take advantage of it. And you know how they take advantage of it?
How?
They don't beat Will Hobbs on Wednesday. Do you understand?
No. Yes.
Guys,
do it.
This is a serious question. Okay? If you
Belt him up.
If you want to know everything that happened, then what I want you to do is just, it's free right now on my Twitter at Bryan Alvarez. Go to YouTube. You can see the rant I did yesterday about the end of, not even a rant. I freaking raved about it. The last angle on Collision was just, it was incredible. And so my question to everybody is, and I'm not talking about you nerds that hate everything. I'm talking about people that watch stuff and like,
Hey.
Not you, Tom. Has there been, I know people are going to think I'm crazy, but seriously here, has there been, when's the last time we had an angle this good in AEW? As far as like building up a match, getting a guy over, basically creating a top babyface like in one night, making you want to see the match in a title change. I mean, seriously, when's the last time we had an angle like this? What are the options?
Doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is it's been too long since it happened where we have to rack our brains and try to figure it out. What matters is the now. And the now is people want to cheer and support Powerhouse Hobbs. And you've put him into a tough position here because it doesn't feel like he's going to win the AEW World title. It doesn't fit with what the Death Rider storyline is in AEW right now, which is why I'm vexed on why they are doing this match. But the fact that they're doing the match, okay, you can't beat him. I would actually consider putting the belt on him. I just don't think that they will. But boy, after watching him and seeing the crowd react to him, I would do it. And if you're not going to do it, you better have an out for him and you better have a feud for him that he can get into next where he actually looks good and stays strong.
You've either got to do a DQ, a schmoz, 85,000 people run in, whatever.
So unsatisfying, though.
Listen, there's a way to do this right where he can win the title, okay? Now, granted, I know that Tony's probably got some long-term plans with Moxley.
Who cares?
But no, here's the thing. If you want to do that, fine. But Hobbs can beat this guy and have a 6 to 8 week run, and then you do some sort of, anything goes match, and you do everything in the book. I mean, you have 5,000 heels run in. You like park a car on the guy, do last man standing, and you drop a car on him so he can't get the car off him. Like something where, Mox gets the title back, but you're like, God, I mean, they did everything in their power. Like, that's what you need here.
Rampage Jackson talking about Roy Nelson. How do you get the moon off of you? You're going to need the moon to put on Powerhouse Hobbs.
The key is that I don't care if you take the title off him again in 6 weeks, but it cannot be with a Death Rider. It cannot be with like a paradigm shift or whatever.
No.
It's got to be like the building toppled over and landed on Hobbs, and he's dug himself 95% of the way out when the referee gets to 10.
I
Fine,
get it. It's
okay?
about the belt. If Moxley's storyline is so important with AEW, it can be on his personality. It can still be without the belt. They can still all want to get the belt because it signifies something. But for heaven's sakes, you can develop the Moxley story more and still get over Powerhouse Hobbs as this like new star, which you desperately need. Sorry.
Man, if he won that belt and then he took that briefcase and with his bare hands he just tore that Tal Halberton apart and the belt came out.
Halliburton?
God.
You know what one of the most memorable...
That's what the stars like me used back in the day, the Halliburton.
One of the most memorable angles, moments of all time in WCW, and it didn't fit the storyline overall when you think about it.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
But it's when they pulled the trigger and Lex Luger racked that dirtball Hogan. They gave him the belt. They took it right off of him at Hog Wild, I believe, that weekend.
And see, that's the problem.
But that's what this reminds me of.
That's the problem. They took the belt off of him in like it just no. The way they did it sucked. You know what I'm saying?
Well, both.
I rewatched all of those Nitros, and man, let me tell you, when that guy racked Hulk Hogan and won the title, and nobody thought he was going to win, like it didn't make sense in the NWO storyline. But dude, he won that title, and that place. I mean. God.
I still come unglued when I watch it.
Yeah, and you know
what
what's
a
funny?
Moment.
All I hear about Luger is like, you know, I always hear people say like Luger kept dropping the ball. Like he was always given the ball, but he always fumbled. Bro, I watched from 1995 through 2001 again. And bro, this guy didn't have a chance. Like every time he got over, it was like somebody would do something, he'd get the rug pulled out of him, like over and over again. It was just like, I don't know, man.
And do you know why it worked for the moment that it worked? Is because when you have all these heavy heat, dark clouds around you, sometimes you need a burst of sunlight given to your fans to keep them going. Here's a fact in AEW. The Death Riders thing is dark. They're out there trying to kill people. Everything about, even their baby faces, Copeland's cheating to win. Everything is very dark.
It's exactly like when Hogan was champion facing Luger.
And
yes, and what they should do is they should have this go down. They should have Copeland. They should have FTR. They should have all these guys come out. It's pure chaos. And at
Lift
the end
up
of
Hobbs on their shoulders.
Well, at the end of it,
Let's
Hobbs
not push it
plants
now.
Moxley with that spine buster after a bunch of craziness goes on, and he gets the win. And like you said, you know, I don't think that's the end of the storyline. I think you got to take it off of him in a few weeks.
Yes,
because Darby Allin's gonna go climb Mount Everest. And then come
Page,
back, but
your Darby Allin is gone as a lone wolf, and he was really never one anyway. Hangman Page has been that lone wolf, and he's actually explained himself a little bit on Collision as to why he is the way that he is, and I thought that was a good thing. But you know what? Much like WCW had to fight off the NWO, Goldberg could operate in his own universe. And you can have an MJF and a Hobbs kind of operate in their own universes. You can't have everybody do that. That's been one of their biggest problems. But you can have those two guys do that while the rest of this Death Riders thing kind of encompasses everybody else. So everything, like multiple things can be done here.
I do got to say one thing, and that is that, 2018 Vince and on, he's the worst. Absolutely sucked. And I've said it before. If nothing had ever happened, no scandals, we still should have gotten rid of this guy. He's just useless.
People power.
However, there were times during his career where he was really good at this stuff, okay? And one of the things that Vince was willing to do was sometimes it was like, you know what? We got to strike while the iron is hot. And I watched the end of Collision, and then I just kept thinking about it all weekend, and it was like, you know what? This feels like that time. This feels like a big moment for AEW. Like
a paradigm shift.
You can strike when the iron is hot this Wednesday. Like, you can do something people aren't expecting with like, all people complain about is, all these WWE guys coming in and this and that. This is a homegrown guy, He's not a former WWE guy. He's not like a big lunk that can't do anything. Like, he's great. I mean, it just feels like this is it, dude. This is your moment, Tony.
And you know what? If you do it right, maybe by the time Wardlow gets back, you could have him built up and you could have those two collide with each other and have two homegrown talents that you didn't expect when you talked about your pillars actually be two guys that people are paying to see. Your guys built from your company.
SmackDown and more after the break. Observer Live.
I am super excited, and I just wanted to make a little note. I'm not only the former, but I'm the soon-to-be again Women's World.
There you go.
I believe in myself. I never lost a championship, and I want an opportunity to be a champion again, so we can finish business the right way. Is that right, guys? Yeah. Is that right? And that's why we're gonna be here and all in, because we're gonna finish business the right way. Saturday, July 12th. Tickets are gonna be available. We are super excited. Me as part of the women's division, believe me, we are ecstatic that we're gonna bring this to the United States, and I'm ecstatic because it's gonna be here in Texas, and I'm pretty sure, I'm saying this, that I'm gonna be in All In next year. It's damn time that I'm gonna be here performing. I see you over there, Busted Open Nation. What's up? See? You, yes, you. They listen to us on the radio. They listen. Everybody knows about AEW. Everybody knows that we've been working super hard for the last 5 years, guys. And it's because of you that we have been able to do what we have. Because you believe in ourselves just as much as Tony Khan does. He believes in this crazy idea that a lot of people say that it wasn't going to be possible. And look at us now. Look at us now. Here, Global Field Stadium. Big show.
What I wanted to make sure of is to put on a good show for you guys and just have an opportunity. I had to do a check with myself a couple years ago, and I said, how does my body feel? How does my body look? Can I go on more? And all those answers were, I feel great, I can go more, and I can do more. And Tony Khan gave me the opportunity to do more, so that's what I'm doing. I'm coming out here to try to have... And another thing, there was a group that we started a couple years back that we didn't have an opportunity to do what we wanted to do and really show you guys what we were capable of.
Was a wise man.
Who's that?
Paul Heyman.
Oh.
Also Lance. He makes a good point here. That the polls would be high for who watched on Max because you're polling online about people who are streaming online. That's a good point. So.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it is now it's your time, Tom.
Oh.
Yes. We're going to see if you can get through a 3-hour SmackDown in a 12-minute segment. It's actually 14 minutes, but I'm idiot-proofing it. Go ahead.
Woefully unprepared would be an understatement to get through it in this time period. However, we had SmackDown Live Friday night on USA. Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett on commentary. This is Tessitore's first time on SmackDown, so first time getting to hear him for an entire show, and I don't even know what to think.
Save Corey Graves.
Oh, I do miss.
I actually think Joe Tessitore's doing a good job. I do think it's ridiculous that Corey Graves has been moved to NXT. But apparently, like, when the NFL season's over, I guess he's moving back. I don't know why. I don't know why he has to be there for that. Like, where's he moving back to? Like, I don't even understand. But anyway,
what do
go
you
ahead.
mean? What do you mean?
Dave said that he is there until the end of the NFL season.
Yeah, when McAfee goes back.
No, McAfee would be around after the NFL season. He's gone during the NFL season.
Huh.
Yeah, he's there now. So I don't know. I have no idea.
What does Tessitore have to do with the NFL?
I'm not talking about Tessitore. I'm talking about Corey Graves.
Oh.
Anyways,
Yes.
Paul Heyman came out, and Cody followed. Paul Heyman put him over, said he has earned the respect of Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has the Ula Fala back after Monday Night's Raw, but now he wants that title back. He wants his belt back, and he is entering the Royal Rumble so that he can win and face Cody at WrestleMania. Cody grabs the mic, crowd goes wild for him, but before he can say anything, Kevin Owens' voice cries out from the stands. They get into a fight in the crowd, and Fatu and Tama Tonga show up in the ring behind Paul Heyman. He cowers before the music of Jimmy Uso comes on. There's a brawl in the ring. Kenny from the Spirit Squad gets beat up. Cody makes his way back into the ring. He's all fired up. Him and Fatu go at it. Cody clotheslines him over the top. And that is the end of that segment. Actually, no. Is this where they made the match?
No, they made it later, I think. But the point is, I mean, this is so clearly a 2-hour show that they stretched out to 3 hours. And if you remember when Raw went from 3 hours to 2, I'm trying to be like positive here. When Raw went from 3 hours to 2, like the 2-hour show sucked for like 3 weeks because they were trying to figure out how to do a 3-hour show in 2 hours. And they did eventually figure it out. So while I cannot wait for this show to go back to 2 hours in June, I do think that in the next couple of weeks, it's probably going to be a more tolerable 3-hour show.
Television professionals
as opposed
get
to
no
this one.
sympathy from me, okay? The same way that AEW didn't get any over the fact that they can't format 2 hours properly, so we get an overrun because you never know when the fun stops. No, stop it. No, and the sweet spot, by the way, is still an hour and a half. I don't care what Triple H says.
Back from
Actually, he said
commercial,
an hour and a half.
Fatu he was in a fight with these security guards, and of all people, LA Knight runs in out of nowhere with a shoulder tackle, knocks Fatu straight out of the building, and then him and Nick Aldis, they can just not hold it in. They are both laughing, smiling, and Knight tells Aldis he's got a title to win. Yeah. They had Chelsea Green defend her title in a rematch from the U.S. Championship tournament that ended at Saturday night's main event against Mishin, who she's been feuding with since this past summer for months and months and months. Piper Niven, of course, out there dressed like a Secret Service security guard. She tried to get involved a few times. Mishin hit that long back attack in the corner for a 2. And eventually, Piper took a swipe at Mishin, who then hit a cannonball off the apron. She then got up on the top rope, came off with a crossbody, but Chelsea rolled through the crossbody, held the tights, and pinned Mishin. Retain her title. We then had a replay of all the wackiness in the tag team division between Motor City Machine Guns, DIY, Pretty Deadly, Los Garzas, and it seems as if Aldis has set up a mini tournament of sorts to see who's going to get the next title shot. We had Los Garza take on Pretty Deadly. And in this match, at the end, Eldon Prince pulled the hair of Angel. Kit made the tag. He came in, but Elektra Lopez pulled the referee, La Madrina. Santos pulled the ropes, as Pretty Deadly were trying to use him. And Los Garza hit a double military press, falling backwards, slamming Elton Prince into the mat, and picking up the big win, getting revenge over Pretty Deadly in the tag team division, and moving on to face the winner of another tag team match later on tonight. We then had the opening segment of the next top hour, LA Knight taking on Shinsuke Nakamura in a U.S. Championship title rematch. Knight came out No entrance gear, no sunglasses, no pomp and circumstance. They talked about how focused he was. And these two, thought these two had a pretty damn fine match with a horrific finish. But you could see it coming based on the earlier happenings between LA Knight and the Bloodline. Knight and Nakamura going back and forth. Nakamura had taken off the middle turnbuckle, tried to use it. He put Knight's head on the buckle, went for the Kinshasa, but missed. Knight hit the BFT, but before he could make the pin, Fatu and Tama Tonga showed up. They laid him out. Eventually, Cody and Jimmy Uso ran out for the save, and this is where they set up the main event for tonight, which is Cody and Jimmy Uso taking on the new Bloodline. There was a long Tiffany Stratton recap and video package, and then A-Town Down Under took on the Motor City Machine Guns in this mini tag title tournament. Things broke down at the end as all four men ended up in the ring. The Guns hit the Motor City Special, followed by a running kick and enziguri combo in the corner. They hit the Skull and Bones on Austin Theory and got the win. Then there was a segment between Pretty Deadly and DIY backstage where Pretty Deadly was asking DIY why they didn't help them out. They were supposed to scratch each other's backs. That's not happening. And Apollo Crews also showed up and told them what else is not happening? They're not going to get those tag team titles.
What a job this guy's got.
I sense Pretty Deadly turning on DIY here and challenging for those belts at the end of this.
And then they can go back to NXT.
Not fans? Not a fan?
Not on the main roster.
They haven't done much lately, I will say.
No, in fact, that match with the Garzas and with Elektra Lopez is another unit that probably should be back down in NXT as well.
Wow.
I hate to say it, but it's true. And look, Elektra Lopez.
Mike don't like anybody.
She's on the main roster because what else could you do with her in NXT? And she's got a great look, but I mean, she's not exactly great. And unfortunately, they've blown it with the Garzas numerous times.
Well, we had a Tiffany Stratton segment where basically she just said it was Tiffy time. There was not much to this. Nia Jax came out. Naomi came out. Bianca came out. And it led to a four-way
entire segment. Okay, this segment that Tom just recapped there went, I think it was like 13 or 14 minutes.
No.
Dude, I timed it last night on the Bryan and Vinny show. The segment with all the women and the match was 17 minutes. I believe the entire thing went 33 minutes, I think, was the time. It was over 30 minutes, okay?
Saber and Umino thought it went too long.
So literally, it was at the very least 13 minutes and probably longer. It went on forever. And then this match went on absolutely forever.
Ever.
And it wasn't very good. And in storyline, this match was put together on the fly, and the main event was put together on the fly. So in storyline, Nick Aldis had only booked a 2-hour SmackDown. That's what happened.
Hey, old habits die hard.
I guess. He was trying to keep the show at 2 hours because he's the best
hard
GM.
To figure out, you know.
Well, of course, in this match, they all tried to team up on Nia repeatedly. Candice LeRae eventually ran down. The tag champs teamed up on Bayley. Then it looked like they were going to fight. But Bianca, I thought this was pretty important. Bianca was not into this fight with Naomi. You could see Naomi looked like she was ready for it. But Bianca's like, no. And she actually dove onto somebody else. This led to Candice getting involved. She has Bianca's hair. Bianca tries to get it back, but she inadvertently whips Naomi. Bianca tackles Nia over the announce desk.
Like she snatched it right off her head.
Bayley hits the rose plant on Naomi, and gets the win.
Okay, so granted, there were commercials and ring entrances and such, but the entire segment from the beginning of speaking to the end of the match was 33 minutes, which means that 16 of those minutes were either the promo setting it up or a commercial break.
Welcome to the TKO era.
3-hour SmackDown. Brutal.
They're using the UFC model of pacing where you get one match every 30 minutes here. We then had Jimmy Uso, Cody Rhodes taking on Tama Tonga, Jacob Fatu in the main event. Good action, as always, from these guys. I mean, Tama Tonga, he's great. Jacob Fatu, he's awesome. Jimmy Uso, phenomenal. Cody Rhodes, top dog. And there's some good stuff in here. Jimmy and Cody hit a big Power and Glory style superplex that Jimmy finished with an Uso splash. Cody hit a big run-up off the top rope Cody cutter. And then KO ran out. Cody took off after him. They brawled to the back. This left Jimmy Uso alone. And Jimmy hit a spear and an Uso splash on Fatu. However, Fatu tagged himself in, bounced Jimmy's head off the table repeatedly, hit an impaler DDT, triple jump moonsault, and he pins Jimmy Uso to get the win. Backstage, KO and Cody are still fighting. They actually fight back into the arena quickly. They're battling atop a bunch of production crates in the crowd, and eventually Cody runs full speed, tackles Owens through some catering tables, and we go off the air. Thanks to our executive producers, Paul Levesque, and of course, Lee Fitting.
I was so excited for them that they finally got those graphics ready for the Netflix debut. You know, it took months to figure out how to get those graphics on the screen for Raw. It is a very, very difficult process.
Chiron's at that level,
to get
Brian.
graphics.
Something else.
And you know, it's funny because it took years for NXT to get graphics too. It's just crazy. I'd never realized how hard it was to put graphics on the screen and the amount of preparation involved in that.
Preparation Triple H.
You know, we got Raw tonight, and very quickly before this break here, I'll tell you what's on the show, because that's my job. Damian Priest, Finn Balor street fight. Chad Gable likely versus Penta, who WWE has put up all of his merchandise in WWE shop.
Are you sure it's him?
It has the words Penta on it. For Lyra versus Dakota Kai, Women's Intercontinental Title Tournament Finals. Sheamus versus Ludwig Kaiser, which should be a banger. We got CM Punk, Gunther, and Rhea Ripley all making appearances. Yeah, they put up all the merch today, and it's up there.
I hope it's like Veer, where they just put up new merch every week.
But he never shows up.
Never shows up.
I hope Penta does show up. 12,536 tickets out for the show. Back in a moment with more Observer Live.
History of All In, the first All In, I had the misfortunes of not being able to be there.
Right.
The following year, I made it so important to myself, personally in my career, to get on that card and be a part of All In at Wembley Stadium. And I did that while going against the icon and legend Sting.
Yeah. Right.
2024, I'm like, how do I do that and bring it up another notch? How do I take it to the next level? How do I progress? And I did that by main eventing All In this past year as the world champion.
Absolutely.
And making history as being the first black man to main event Wembley Stadium.
How about that? How about that?
With that being said, there's a man, Stephen A. Smith, I'm quoting him by saying, I'm not the American dream, I'm the American story.
Damn right.
I got to this progression not just by hoping and wishing and luck. I got it from hard work, consistency and perseverance, and believing in myself and not taking no for an answer. And every time I ran into a roadblock, when I got steered the wrong way, I figured it out and I got right back on track and I went harder than ever. So All In Texas, Saturday, July 12th, at Globe Life Field, All Elite Wrestling is going to do the same thing. We're going to get back on track, and we're going to push harder, and we're going to do better than we ever have, and we need your help to do that for us.
Now, as for my participation at All In this year, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if I'll be able to wrestle at that point. I don't know if I'll be able to wrestle again, to be quite honest. But there's one thing that I can tell you for certain: I will be here.
Yes.
There is nothing that you could do to make me miss All In. at Global Life Field. I walked in, and like I said, I got chills. And when I saw it, and when I remember All In last year at Wembley, and then the first All In that broke so many records, I walked in there. I'm like, there's no way that I'm going to miss it. So whatever Tony Khan wants me to do, whether it's I could commentate with you.
Why not? Absolutely. Yeah, sure.
Or even just help him backstage. I'm going to be there live to watch it because this is going to be incredible.
Breaking news.
What's that?
Bellator's dead.
Oh,
Muerte.
You heard it from me first.
You've done this before.
They're being folded into the PFL. Yeah.
Bryan Alvarez.
Bellator is no more. That's a quote.
Hey, how about some news? How about some news from me? Speaking of promotions that have been...
Matt Riddle won the MLW title?
Well, that's true.
Thank you. You heard it here first.
One of the filthy bros. TNA Impact on Nessun, the premier sports network in the world. How about that?
I thought that was a Nintendo system I played about 25 years ago.
Northeast Sports Network, Boston Bruins, all that sort of stuff. I heard they added 250,000 people.
Probably did. What do you think I added no listeners when we went to Sports Byline for After Dark? Let me tell you, we did. You can't not.
Even with all those technical problems?
Well, I mean, they all turned the show off. I mean, actually, I don't even know. Maybe they listened to whatever was on. Yeah, there is an After Dark Wednesday, and hey, listen, we've had no problems on this show. So, man, if we cannot stay connected on Wednesday, something's up, dude.
Yes, we had no audio
We had a
issues
problem
on this
right at the
show.
beginning.
I'm not even. No, we didn't. That was a problem on your end, but not the Byline end.
It's a you problem, Tom.
Byline could not stay connected for After Dark. We were booted off the air so many times we had to just give up. It was weird.
It was that guy in the Max Headroom mask,
You hear
wasn't
me?
it?
Just weird.
May have been. Fly swatter and all.
All right, everybody, we got to wrap it up. We're out of here. I'll be back later on tonight with Dave. Tomorrow with Mike. And Granny. And Sean. Actually, Sean won't be here tomorrow.
Oh.
It's his anniversary. But anyway, we got a lot coming up, everybody. Check out WrestlingObserver.com for more. You can subscribe to all of our shows at WrestlingObserver.com or Apple, YouTube, or Spotify. F4WOnline.com/Apple, F4WOnline.com/YouTube, F4WOnline.com/Spotify. Check them out. It's a fun time. We'll talk to you next time. Wrestling Observer Live.